ASRB on Monday, November the 18th at 4:30 PM. I don't know what I was thinking there. Hey. We have a roll call.
Chair Lindsay,
Present.
Vice Chair Comra,
Present.
Member Delgavio,
Present.
and members Middleman and Taft are noted absent.
Are there any changes to the agenda tonight?
There are no changes to the agenda.
At this point, we open it to the public, or anyone in the public, either in the room or online, who wishes to make a comment on anything not on tonight's agenda.
Nothing to report today.
We don't have anyone online.
Okay, good. Thank you. I don't believe there's anything on the consent agenda tonight. Nope. So with that, we move straight to the one and only agenda item for tonight, which is 7 Palm Circle. So 5 Palm. Yes, sorry. I'm July.
It's July, the 7th month.
We have a staff report.
Hello and thank you. My name is Kigo, and I will be introducing the project at 5 Palm Circle Road for conceptual design ASRB review. And so 5 Palm Circle Road is located in the R1 zoning district and is located on the cul-de-sac of this Palm Circle Road near Pinata Road and the 280 freeway. Here's the topographic survey. The site is relatively flat and is elongated with a pretty narrow driveway entrance and front setback. So for the overall site plan, the applicant is proposing to have a elongated building footprint for the main residence as well as for the attached ADU and garage. The applicant is also proposing an accessory structure. At this point, the use is not yet determined and will be addressed at formal design review. And this is the extent of this proposed residence as compared to the other existing structures nearby. This is the proposed floor plan of 5 Palm Circle. And here is the proposed residence elevations, starting with the front. This is for the rear. These are the residence elevations for the sides. And lastly, here are a few renderings for the proposed project, including the front. For the rear. And for these ones, this is showing the front, but this will be the left side rendering, and this would be the right side rendering with the rear shown in the back. So that concludes staff presentation. The applicant is also in attendance tonight to answer any questions. Thank you very much.
Does anyone on the board have questions of staff? With regards to the attached ADU, is it because it exceeds the square footage limit to be considered a junior ADU? Is that why it's qualified as a full ADU?
Yeah, the junior ADU can only be up to 500 square feet, so this would be just under 800 square feet.
What's the limit in terms of total number of ADU counts for property of this size?
1 ADU is allowed. They could also have a J ADU, but in this case, just 1 full ADU is allowed. Site plan.
Yeah, so it's a two-car indoor garage. And as far as the outside parking spaces, it will be clarified at formal design review that there will be enough parking spaces to meet compliance with the zoning district.
They show there would be space for 2 cars in front of the garage, and then 1 more could be in the driveway, so that would be a total of 5 on site.
So there doesn't have to be one back.
Correct. No, and the other building in the back cannot be an ADU. So the main thing is that they'll just define the space and make sure it doesn't have a full kitchen or a full bathroom that's entered from the outside. That's something that will be clarified at formal design review. But they just have to have those parking spaces available on site.
Any other questions?
Just about the new gate and the wood fence, is that something that's been developed at this point? I saw an image of the gate, but I didn't know where the fence ran.
I don't believe a gate's proposed. We can also ask the applicant. They are showing on sheet A 1.0 locations of where the existing fences would be revised. And then, sorry, the gate, speaking of gate, the gate is a pedestrian gate connected to the fence, but I didn't see a vehicle gate.
No, I didn't see vehicle gate.
So yeah, so the pedestrian gate is just, it's kind of perpendicular to the side of the house. It's gotta be at least 50 feet setback, on the driveway side. And then there's a small gate, probably about 35 feet on the, ADU side. See it here. Keep it going.
I'll back out.
So there's the gate on the driveway side, and then there's a small one over kind of at the front of the ADU.
And just for our benefit, clarifying that the ADU being attached has no bearing on the 4-foot setback from the fence.
No, so what you see here is this blue dashed line. That's what we consider the basic setback, what it's called in the code. And so the portion of the ADU that encroaches into that can be as close as 4 feet as long as it's no more than 800 square feet. That encroaches into the basic setback. So the entire ADU itself is a little less than 800, and therefore the part encroaching is less than 800 and can be as close as 4 feet.
Is there a fence all along the sides there? Or no?
Yes, they're proposing there to replace the existing fence with this solid fence around the sides.
Clarification on that ADU statement. Would the ADU be larger than 800 feet as long as only 800 feet are within?
That's correct. So yes, so if at only 800 square feet can go into the basic setback, whereas yes, it could be larger with another piece meeting the basic setback.
Any other questions?
You-
All right, with that, thank you, Diego. Invite the applicant to make a presentation.
Hi, everyone. I'm Solar, the designer of the project. We have the owner and the contractor developer here as well. We try to kind of minimize the size of the house by lowering and doing heat roofs all around, making the whole house cohesive, and then stepping it down as we go with the topography so that we don't kind of overbear the projects around us. So the style shall be a contemporary home, and you guys have seen the designs. I'll keep it short. I'll let the owner and future residents talk for a minute.
Hi, guys. So this is gonna be a resident for me and my parents. So we propose the drawing, so unless they have any comments.
One.
We have talked to them, yeah. No, so the one on the right side, I think they don't live here, right? They live in Carmel, and then on the left side, they haven't moved here. So
Oh, they haven't moved in yet.
they haven't moved in. I haven't met them. Neither have we.
And then as far as the construction, does the stucco go all the way down with the exception of, pretty low to the ground? No treatment beside stucco directly?
That's what we're thinking with the contemporary theme book.
And-
You mean as far as like wainscoting with stone? and-
Sorry, could you just please speak in the microphone for our
Sorry.
recording? Thank you.
You're talking about the kind of wainscoting and treatment of stone, something like that? Is that
Correct.
what you're asking?
I just wondering
With
what,
the current design, we're not expecting to have any other treatment other than stucco. Mhm.
So
I would assume that's your intention.
We have to have a little bit of exposed cement and concrete. Yes.
Yes.
It's for drainage and you want to make sure it doesn't get moisture. It's required by building code.
But it will be a smooth stuff as a finish.
Do you have a
I believe they were included in the plans. That information should be there. Yes. So we're doing smooth stucco and standing seam metal roof with windows with a black exterior finish. And the dark, yeah, black exterior finish and then
Where's
dark
the
color.
TPO?
There is, we're not going to use TPO anymore. We are doing all standing seam.
The color.
I believe it's that dark gray, a slate gray. Yeah, that's, we have a box around that, yeah.
And that's for the roof.
That's
just
for
to
the roof.
clarify.
How about wall?
Like cream color as the renderings are showing, kind of a tan stucco. I believe it's called Dove color.
And what is the perimeter hardscape?
It will be landscaped by concrete, smooth concrete, right? A smooth concrete on the walkways and landscaped with the softscaping of their choosing at the time of building.
So is there a vegetation management plan or is that yet to be done?
I'm sorry.
Vegetation management, not a vegetation, landscaping plan?
We haven't gotten there yet. Yeah, we will provide a landscape plan for the building submission. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take comments,
I always skip.
public comments.
Yes.
We're new at this. See?
All right. Point in time, we invite the public to make a comment on this.
Thalia Lubin, 11 Palm Circle. We have met with Surin and the gang. And since we're both architects, Steve and I, my only concern is that the current floor plan doesn't really take advantage of the site as we wish it would, but we have talked to them about it and I don't know what changes could be made at this point. We're very happy that they don't have a vehicle gate. Most of the properties on Palm Circle don't, and it's very informal. We're very open. We all get together for barbecue, so we like having people come and go. I do have one clarification. The name on the application is not the same as the, is it the same as, is it Surin's name? I thought it was a different,
Yeah, this is, let's list on the application. Leonid Gordon.
oh, okay, okay, I would just, we're just trying to figure out, okay, who's who in this, yeah. But anyway, love the standing seam metal roof, that's what we have. The stucco color, it's okay, maybe not so bright, if, maybe tone it down, but we can talk to them. We've been having conversations, so, yeah. And then landscaping would be interesting to see, but yeah, it actually be less visible than what's there now, which is a 2-story house. Anyway, we look forward to welcoming them to Palm Circle because it's a very special place. I told CERN. We really do get together and we know where everybody's key is. So yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Talia?
Steve Lubin. I second what Thalia said, but I mean, I do have some concerns about the design that we discussed when we all met, that I think it really doesn't make use of the site. It's a very interior looking house, and I think it would be far better if the building in the rear were an actual ADU and use the 4-foot setbacks and would open up some exterior spaces behind the house so the rooms wouldn't be interior looking. And it feels like the roof line is unnecessarily complex, but you know, those are architectural issues, which I suppose are in your court. And I look forward to seeing a landscape plan that uses native informal plants. Thank you.
Is there anyone from the public online who make a comment?
We have one person online, but no raised hand.
Okay, that close public comment, and now turn for just.
It was a fight.
Think of microphone.
I can't hear you, Dave. No,
You gotta move it closer.
no.
It's off. The light is on.
Can you hear me now? Awesome. I feel like a Verizon commercial. Very modest house. It's refreshing to see an old site be brought back to life. You know, when I walked the property over the weekend, I mean, it looked like it used to be a great house, but it's not one anymore. So I'm happy to see you guys take on the challenge of rejuvenating a property and also doing a multi-generational family house. I kind of echo some thoughts, like, you know, there's a little bit more property to be used in the back. And you know, in terms of breaking out the ADU going to the back instead of going to the setback on the side, but and by the same token, a 4-foot setback to a fenced property line seems inconsequential. So just a little bit of feedback, you know, to maybe spread out, but I wouldn't make it a recommendation. Other than that, it looks great.
agree. I feel it's a simple design. It should be able to be built hopefully affordably for you, and I think you did a nice job. I would love to see something organic on the face of it, but it looks like you've got a garage door that's in wood, so that would help to a certain extent. But I don't have any objections. Landscape plan will be wonderful when you get around to that, and lighting to really like put the little sparkle in. That's all for me.
Thank you. Yeah, from my perspective, I mean, I echo the comments by Member Middleton about modest house. It's nice to see someone take a reasonable approach to a new home. Generally, I think appreciate the removal of the second driveway, returning that to landscape space. With regards to, I mean, general scale and proportions, I think it's good in terms of how you've approached it. I have some concerns about the discussions that lie ahead with planning with regards to the negotiation over the structure in the rear. I know they'll keep an eye on that. But besides that, no, I think in general, I think it's a good project. And certainly what it's replacing is far superior. So, yeah, that's it. Summarized for me.
I do have a question for staff. Does the ADU count change for this particular zoning district if the new ordinance passes?
It wouldn't change due to the, this is less than an acre. So
Less than an
anything
acre.
that's being changed is contemplated over an acre.
Wasn't sure if timing was an issue.
So with that, I'm just sort of polling my fellow board members on moving forward on a motion to move forward to formal review with staff. No need for this project to come back.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if there was any variances that require.
No, we could summarize. So just what we've heard, the applicant is commended for designing a modest one-story residence. It's well suited for the neighborhood. Also creating a multi-generational design with the attached ADU. And also commended for the removal of the second driveway. The recommendations are for the applicant to work for formal design review, work on providing a darker tan color for the exterior. Also to provide a landscape plan with native landscaping and minimal lighting. And to work out the code compliance concerns related to the detached rear accessory structure.
Yep.
Is there anything else?
Yep. Do we have a motion for that?
Motion that.
And then they did put story poles up, so there is not, it does not appear at this time a need for any other entitlement. So if it would, it'd be up to the ASRB, could come to staff for formal.
As long as they.
Yes, no, it's the physical samples are required with the formal design review application. So yeah, no, the renderings are difficult to depict. So we'll actually ask for the actual color chip.
The full motion is your summary with moving to formal with staff.
Yeah.
And that was Member Middleman.
Sir.
That emotion.
Chair Lindsay,
Yes.
Vice Chair Comra, Member Delgavio, Member Middleman, and Member Taft is noted absent.
Great. So we'll send a letter also to the public who commented as well as to the applicant, and they'll discuss the next steps for the project.
Thank you. Sorry.
That concludes that one. As our only agenda item, that concludes the meeting.
Yeah, no, the only thing I'll report is just update on at the planning commission meeting. They were kind of looking at different ADU changes. So these ADU changes had to do with what are required in the housing element programs. So to add additional ADUs on sites over 2 acres in all the zoning districts except SR, in which they should allow additional ADUs on everything over 1 acre in the SR districts. That was straight out of the housing element programs. The other item was to provide more flexibility, such as allowing ADUs in slopes in excess of 35%, as well as the utilities such as septic to be located in those steeper slopes. So that was something out of the housing element. The last thing that was out of the housing element, we had to redefine our definition of emergency shelter to align with the state requirements. So no real changes there. It was just minor word modifications. And the understanding there was comments from the member of the public, mostly supportive. Also, members of the public noted other things they'd like to see. And it's been acknowledged by planning staff. We're going to be following up with another ordinance shortly after to look at some other changes, wanting to prioritize these things at this time to get done before the end of the year per our housing element. The Planning Commission was supportive of the changes, had two recommendations. One recommendation was actually to expand the additional ADUs to all zoning districts for 1 acre and above, not just the SR district. And the second recommendation was to also allow for utilities such as septic or for ADUs themselves if they are attached. We were proposing just for it to be for detached units, but they recommended to also apply to attached units. So those recommendations will be carried forward to the town council on December 10th.
One, just had a question about motivation in that ordinance. Was there a reason, what was the motivation in stopping it? Allowing only ADUs in 50% versus, aligning with the county and allowing main residence construction up to 50%.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear the last piece.
So the ordinance allows, I just realized I'm not in the mic. The ordinance allows for 50% in development and 50% for ADUs, but not the main residence. And if I'm not mistaken, if it was unincorporated San Mateo County, you could develop the main residence in up to 50%.
Correct. This is specifically for ADUs.
That's specifically
So it's
scoping
just
that.
for either
Got it.
attached ADUs, which potentially could expand the main residence system if it's tying into that, but it's specific to ADUs.
Got it. So the motivation was that was what you were addressing.
Yes, it is. It was primarily to carry out the housing element programs.
All right.
Yes, I have another public communication. I kind of talking to our neighbors about their project and looking at the design. It reminded me that years ago, I suggested to the Planning Commission that in the SR zone, particularly on Palm Circles, the 15-foot side yard setbacks are really cause new projects to not be consistent with the neighborhood character. The only house on Palm Circle that conforms to the setback is the one next to this towards Kenyatta Road, which is the house that fits in not very well on the street. And so if I'm just maybe Sage could carry this message on that I think a smaller setback would be appropriate for this zone because it would allow people to spread sideways and leave more of the lot in usable open space. As it is now, you end up with these side yards that are not very usable, and I think it leads to a poorer site design.
All right, I will bring the meeting to a close at 5 p.m.